Welcome to the Oakdale Parks and Recreation Commission meeting. We're at the Oakdale City Council chambers. We're calling this meeting to order, and now we'll take a roll call. Julie?
Commissioner Berth,
Here.
Commissioner Cunningham,
Here.
Commissioner Giannini,
Here.
Commissioner Meyer,
Here.
Commissioner Prosser,
Here.
Commissioner Shore.
Here.
Great. Please stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Everyone get take a peek at the agenda for today? Yeah. I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to
Yeah,
approve.
all right, second,
We're all
Glenn.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed. February 18th minutes. It's been a while.
Yeah.
You guys check it out? Do you remember it, first of all? Yeah, okay. Can I get a motion to approve? Anyone?
I'll motion.
All right, Jan, second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes, great. Right now, we'll go to an open forum. There's just tons of people here today, so take your time and we'll get you as you come. There's no one here. Hannah, you want anything other to say? All right. Now we'll go into old business. 2025 work plan, Commissioner Education. Julie, you want to?
Yeah. Thank you, Commissioner Meyer. So speaking to our 2025 work plan, education assignments, I'm not sure how you guys want to do this year. I feel like how we did it last year wasn't necessarily the best way to do it. Do you have any suggestions on how you would like to see that happen? I'd still like to see just someone, take an event or a park visit each month, but I'm not sure the best way. Do you want to email me what you would like to do, or would you like to pick something today? What would you guys like to see?
Well, I picked one for myself for this month.
Perfect. Okay, we'll have you report as soon as we.
I can report
Finalize.
one that I did just recently.
Okay. So do you want to have a month assigned, or would you prefer just to come and report if you were at a park or an event?
That's a little easier, but I don't know if it's going to work for everybody, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather report when I go,
Okay.
so.
Okay. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, yeah. It'd be nice to have someone at each event, though, representing the commission.
Yeah.
So if we just do it ourselves and nobody shows, then it's kind of not what we're about. So if we can email Julie if we're going to be around and doing something, and if you see someone that doesn't have an event covered, if you could put it out to all of us and say, hey, who can get here?
Sure. Well, last year, so everybody just picked something. So we had
Right.
someone covering something every month. I think if we picked a program and everyone had to attend, that would be kind of a heavy lift.
I don't mean everyone has to attend.
Right, but
One
just-
that's not covered, and you just put it out and say, who can cover this, who can make this? Because if we're all doing our own thing and say, we're gonna be here, we're
Okay.
gonna be here,
Okay.
but you have one event that's
Yeah.
social or something, and
Right.
can one of you make it out here?
Okay. Does that sound okay to everyone?
So to recap, we're going to email you, Julie, every month and say,
So I'll say, okay, next month is an indoor market in November. Who would like to take that?
Okay, so like, I had signed up for it, I believe, but like, I was there at the Bethke Park tree planting. Do you want to know before or afterwards? Like, I could have emailed you and said, hey, I attended that. It was really a good event.
Right. Well, so just going forward, I just wanted to have a better process, but what we'll plan to do then is for July, I'll reach out to everyone and ask if anyone can cover whatever it happens to be, and then and then you can, whoever, was available can pick that. But we only need one person, then we'll just do that every month. But you can certainly report to the activities that you were at today.
Okay. And is that at a different point of this meeting, or?
Oh, you can do
no?
that now, yep.
Oh, so, yeah, I did attend a really good event. Andy, I think you were there too, but it was the Bethke Park tree planting. They had lost a lot of trees in that park due to emerald ash borer. And so they had, I think, like 25 to 30 trees that we planted right to the front off of Granada Avenue there. And the mayor was there. And we had a lot of people from some of the local schools help planting. And it was just really a fun event to see, that we pay attention to our parks and we get people who are interested in our parks. And Maxine Bethke was really happy that we all paid attention to it too.
Good.
So, yeah, it was well turned out, I thought. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
Thanks,
The
Jen.
weather wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't this full day rain like we have today,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Julie, anything else on
Yeah, I
that?
think Mike had a,
No, I meant I had a upcoming event that I was
Okay.
planning to attend.
Okay,
So I'll
perfect.
report next time.
okay, we'll discuss via email then.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Anybody else on that?
I went to the blood drive over at the Discovery Center. Thankfully, it wasn't busy because they only had like 2 people drawing blood, and it would have taken forever. But no, it was fine. No problems.
And I haven't been here for a little while, but me and my family went to the egg hunt, and we also went to Sunday bingo. And, I mean, the egg hunt is always a great event. It was lots of fun, lots of families, lots of kids. The bingo was also a lot of fun, and I was actually really surprised, like, how many, like, non-young families there were. It was a lot of, like, older generation there, 'cause, which was great. It's a neutral environment, to be able to just go and play bingo and eat some ice cream, and it was fun, and we're definitely going to do that again.
Perfect, thanks for the feedback.
Anyone else? Mark? Karen? Good? Good?
I did forget to say that that tree planting was in honor of Jane Klein, who was on our Parks and Recs Commission before she died. Yeah, so it was good to honor her too.
Definitely. Okay,
Good, all right.
yep.
Moving along. We have Hannah Dunn, our Community Development Specialist here, to talk about the Park System Plan Update. Welcome, Hannah.
Thank you. Just wait for my slides to pop up. There we go. So thank you for having me here this evening. For new faces on the commission, my name is Hannah Dunn. I am a community development specialist with the city, and I've been leading the Park System Plan project. As the project is getting fairly close to wrapping up, I want to take the time to come to your meeting to provide an update and review the project. The Park System Plan is intended to be a comprehensive park plan that will serve as a guiding roadmap for the next 20 years. The City of Oakdale already has a really well-established parks, trails, and recreation system. However, due to significant city growth, changing demographics, interest in different park amenities, and aging infrastructure, we felt that a new Park System Plan was needed. So it will provide a way to meet the demands and needs of the community. The Park System Plan will identify and prioritize recommendations for improvements, schedules, costs, staffing, and funding opportunities. The project kicked off in January of last year, so we're about a year and a half in, and we're anticipating that it'll be completed within the next couple of months. SRF Consulting Group, they are the consultant that we hired. They're not present, but Stuart has been and Ken have been here to a couple meetings. So they were hired to provide professional planning services for the project. The next few slides goes over how the city staff and SRF Consulting, developed the Park System Plan, the different tasks that we did. So back in Early last year, the spring, very early stages of the project, a number of tasks were completed. We reviewed previous plans and studies. We analyzed demographic trends. We completed a comprehensive inventory and assessment of all our parks and their amenities, trails, buildings, athletic fields. This was done by city staff and SRF Consulting Group, going out, spending a few days in the parks, walking around, taking notes, and filling out an assessment form. There was an initial survey in March that sought to gather just general feedback from residents and park users about what they like about our system, what they think can be improved. And then lastly, there were a few days that city staff and the consultants spent going through design charrettes. We met with various departments such as Public Works, the Police Department, to do some informal interviews. And then from that information that we gathered, as well as the survey results, we just started to put some ideas to paper and developed some preliminary concept plans. The consultant then took those kind of just, you can see on the picture, trace paper. They took those designs and put them into the, really nice professional format. Last summer was our really big engagement push. So following the development of the preliminary concept plans, we wanted to gather people's feedback about those plans and see whether they were supportive of the recommended improvements. There was an online survey, which we promoted on social media, and we used yard signs in the parks to get people to take the survey. We attended events such as the Farmers Market and Summerfest to engage with visitors. We had stakeholder meetings with the Oakdale Athletic Association and Oakdale Wellness 50+. We attended city commission meetings such as yours, the Environmental Management Commission, the Economic Development Commission. There were also some informal pop-ups at Tanner's Lake as well as other parks. And when we were out in the other parks, we were really trying to be intentional about engaging volleyball players. So this is a use of our park that we're seeing increase. So we were trying to be intentional about speaking with those that play grass volleyball to gather their thoughts. Following all that engagement, concept plans were further refined, and we attended 2 different council workshops in the fall of 2024 to gather council feedback. Then throughout the winter and spring of this year, the project team worked more with City Council to finalize preferred concept plans and develop detailed cost estimates that will be really helpful when we're working on our capital improvement plans in the future. We also worked to develop a prioritization and phasing matrix that prioritizes all the park improvements that are in the concept plans over the short term, which is 0 to 5 years, the midterm, 5 to 10 years, and then the long term, 10 to 20 years. All of that work takes us up to now where we're compiling all of that, the concept plans, the phasing and prioritization matrix, into a digestible plan that current city staff and city council, as well as future city staff and city council, can use to guide the city's park system. I'll pause briefly to see if commissioners have any questions or comments about how we developed the park system plan, engagement that was done. I'll just open it up for.
Go ahead, Dan.
Well, I guess tonight, are we going to go through each park and?
Nope, so this was just an opportunity to, as we're getting to the final stages, to just kind of close out, have a final opportunity for questions. But we were not gonna, we had an opportunity, I think back in November, to walk through all the concept plans. So we were not gonna walk park by park again tonight. The park concepts have been provided in your packet. They've changed a little since the last time we were here, based on council feedback. So if you looked through those and had any questions, I'm happy to answer them now. But really, this was just an opportunity to kind of, as we're wrapping up the project, to get in front of you and just kind of let you ask questions.
Are you guys satisfied with the feedback from the city when you went out?
From residents and park
Yeah.
users? Yeah, there was a lot of really great comments. People left really intentional feedback. I don't remember off the top of my head how many people took the survey. It was a pretty good response rate based on other similar surveys for projects and studies.
Right.
And at events, we talked to lots and lots of people. So I know that there's still probably, more comments that we could have collected, but we did do a really big engagement push over the summer. So.
Yeah, I thought the emails and how they could reply to that was very good, actually. So, who has some questions?
Well, that was gonna be my
Question.
go ahead.
So in Tanner's Park, refers to H as a water play area feature. Is that
Yep.
a splash pad?
We were intentionally keeping that flexible. That is something that future council will decide how that looks. But they had been supportive of a water play feature there, but we don't know what that will exactly look like. So when that area, and I don't off the top of my head know in that phasing matrix when that is proposed, I think that's more of a long-term park improvement. We will go through more of a final design process and determine what that will look like.
I was just going to comment that I know this is a huge project to take on, so I appreciate all the outreach and effort put into soliciting all the comments and feedback.
Thank you.
Absolutely. No, I think it's a job well done. Like I said, the layout's great. And presentation's wonderful. And you guys did put a lot of hard work into this, all of you. And we appreciate that for sure.
I did have one park-specific question also.
Yes.
For the Goose Pond Park.
Yes.
Was there anything in the proposal about signage for like not feeding the geese?
The concepts are pretty high level, so they don't go into that sort of wayfinding or other signage. But that could be something to consider down the line when we get into final design processes. There was it'll take further refinement, but we were attempting to create some sort of buffer that will kind of keep some of the geese hopefully away from that turf grass that they love so much. But I think when we get into those final design phases, we'll have to really put a little bit more thought into how that can work, but maybe something that along the lines of more signage that could potentially help.
Didn't council just talk about geese?
Another question I have is, will we be in on like deciding which ones are a priority and which ones, like Armstrong Park was, it's really been nothing up to this point, and so, I mean.
City Council went through at multiple workshops and gave their priorities and hierarchy. So it was the phasing matrix is pretty much based on their priorities, but it's something that maybe we can, as we continue, it's a living document. Nothing is set in stone. So each time we kind of are revisiting, maybe there'll be more opportunities in the future for Parks and Rec Commission to weigh in. But at this point, I don't quite know how that will look like, but it's something to consider.
I'm not saying that I think Armstrong should be immediately or anything. I think it's just been one of those things that we have as a park, but it's been like, why?
Yeah. Yep, and we reclassified a number of the parks like Armstrong and Meadows that don't have trails or active amenities as natural resource parks. We still find value in them in providing ecological habitat and serving as green space. So there are some parks, we do have quite a number of them that are more of those natural resource parks. But Armstrong does have a concept plan for kind of changing it up a little bit. But like I said, nothing set in stone. If the future council decides that they want to go a different direction, that is certainly a possibility.
Good. Anyone else?
And I have one question.
Yes.
And we can take this offline, but one of my lacks of skill is reading a map. Can we walk Tanner's Lake at some point so I can see what all of this means?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think as Tanner's improvements are implemented, there will be a lot more community engagement involved around that park. And things like walking tours is something we've discussed as potential ways to engage people and help them understand what our vision for the park is. But in terms of, we can certainly just go on a walk of Tanner's.
Yeah, when you have some time, because this is a foreign language to me, so I just don't get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that would be a great opportunity for, to open it up to whoever's interested. I'd be interested in seeing.
I'd like to get in on that.
Yeah, And I don't know what your plans are for summer. I do believe that maybe there's one meeting that you take outside. I don't
September.
know if you have plans for that, but I am willing to offer
Okay.
a walking tour of Tanner's if that's something, if you don't have different plans, so.
No, we don't.
Be a
have it.
great time for
That'd be a
it.
great idea.
Great time for it. Excellent. Excellent.
Well, if there's no other questions, I do have just a few more slides. So now that we have all the pieces of the plan completed, concept plans, cost estimates, phasing, and prioritization matrix, the project team is in the process of preparing a draft. The contents of the plan will include an introduction that provides an overview of the plan. It identifies the vision, goals, objectives. There will also be an assessment of need chapter. That's where demographics will be discussed, the current system and park assessments, the park gap analysis that we've completed, and then there will be maps that show the distribution of the different amenities such as playgrounds, multi-use fields, so you can kind of understand the system as a whole where maybe there's some gaps. The public engagement chapter will summarize the efforts of the project team. And then there will also be a recommendations chapter that's going to identify high-level system-wide priorities related to accessibility, safety, connectivity, and so on. And then another chapter will be the Tanner's Lake Park Long-Range Plan. As part of the consultant's scope of work, Tanner's received a bit of a deeper look and more thought went into developing a preferred concept plan, so that park is going to get its own chapter. Then there will be an implementation and funding chapter. This is where that phasing matrix will go. And opportunities for funding will be identified. We'll have this really great plan with concepts and phasing, but it'll be really important to identify funding sources so we can actually implement the recommended improvements. So this is something that City Council is actively thinking about. At the very end of the plan, we'll have all the concepts, all those detailed cost estimates. So when the City Council is going through the capital improvement plan process, that chapter will be really helpful for them. But it's a 20-year plan. It's a living document. It can change as, change with the times and the needs of the park users. So we wanted to make sure that it can be a living document. Nothing has to be set in stone. Next steps, the project team is in that final push to get a draft completed. Once we have one, we will send it out to City Council, the Parks and Rec Commission, as well as other commissions for an opportunity to review and provide comments. And then the input that you provide will be considered and, when possible, incorporated into the plan. A final plan will go through council and will be adopted by them. This is going to occur within the next couple of months. Once we have an adopted plan, we want to make sure that doesn't sit on a shelf and it's an active living tool for the city. So aligning that phasing and prioritization matrix with the city's capital improvement plan will be a step in the right direction, and that's something that City Council is thinking a lot about right now. So before we wrap up this evening, I'll open it up to commissioners if you thought of any other comments or questions, feedback.
No, I think it's wonderful job. Wonderful job.
Well, if there are none, thank you for having me this evening. As always, you are free to email me with any questions or things that come up. So don't be shy.
Thanks, Hannah.
Hannah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for the eco fair, too.
Oh, yes, you're welcome. That was a great event that we'll be talking with City Council about hopefully next
What
week.
good event.
Or 2 weeks. No, next week. Yeah, I saw some of you there, so thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hannah.
All right. Staff, Julie, you're the only one here.
I am. I can go ahead with the May-June update for you. The summer Oakdale update has arrived in mailboxes, so hopefully everybody received theirs. That will include the months of June through September. All seasonal staff have been hired for all of our summer programming, and that they'll start on June 6th, so coming fast, yeah. Park cleanup update. We had over 100 volunteers to help clean our 16 parks that we had people sign up for. Thanks to all the volunteers. They really do a good job helping keeping our parks clean. We also gave out seed bombs as thank you gifts. So they're just little round balls that you could just toss wherever you'd like. And hopefully everybody who received those will have some sprouts sooner than later.
I planted mine, but I don't know with all this rain today. So.
Good luck. Our Artists of the Month, the Painting Pals, who are local artists, they that paint together at Gladstone. They've returned for their annual group art display, and that will be at the Discovery Center May through June. So stop by and take a look if you're at the Discovery Center. We've got a couple kayak programs coming up. Silverfin Kayaking, who we partner with, they'll be instructing to learn 2 kayak programs on Wednesday, May 28th. And then we also have a Strawberry Full Moon Kayak, and that'll be on Wednesday, June 11th. And we still do have openings, so if anybody's interested, jump online and you can register for those. The Farmers Market kicking off very soon, Wednesday, June 4th, and again, that's 2 to 6 at City Hall. New this summer, we have live music schedule, and those will start at 3 o'clock. The first one will begin on June 25th, so we'll have a variety of different dates, and those will be advertised on our website as well. It's the band names and that type of thing, so look for that. We'll also have several new vendors, and that will be joining us this summer, and you'll be able to find those on our updated farmers market list prior to Memorial Day. So take a look for that. Take a look at that. Our always popular amphitheater series will kick off on June 12th. So we've got a few different ones this year. We've got the Sustainable Safari, the Yo-Yo Master Dazzling Dave, and we've got Snake Discovery, and then the always popular Raptor Center. So we always tell people, get there early and get a spot. They always fill up really fast. Summer concert series, that'll kick off on Wednesday, June 18th, and that will be with a performance by Salsa del Sol, and that is a Caribbean-infused band. So we've got 5 total concerts this summer. Series will wrap up on August 20th with a 6 p.m. kids dance party and bubble party from Imagine Music Bubble Parties. We had those, that group at Summerfest a couple of years ago for one of the kids shows, and it's really enjoyable. And I know a lot of people showed up, so they'll be back if anyone wants to pop into that one. We've also partnered with the Maplewood Oakdale Historical Society this summer to provide summer programming at the Eater Schoolhouse, so that'll be fun, new, and exciting. They've got one-room schoolhouse camps, and that one will be in June and one will be August. So interesting to see how that'll look and turn out this summer.
I do have a question about that. You're having camps around that, but is there times that you could just, as adults, you could just go through to see it or not?
As of yet, they haven't done program for that, just the open house that they'll have in September. That'll be the one date, but that is their goal, to start working at that and having that open on a more regular basis in the summer. Okay. We've got outdoor story time and craft series. That's something new we're doing with Paper Pie, and that will happen at the amphitheater June, July, and August. And April does kids stories and crafts. Free program, recommended for kids 10 and under. No registration is necessary. That's something you can just show up and participate in. We're also offering new Zumba in the Park fitness classes, and that will happen at the Eater Schoolhouse in the grassy area there. We'll do that this summer. We've got 3 different sessions. Sign up. We've still got plenty of openings for that. The Nature Preserve 5K coming up on Saturday, June 28th at the Discovery Center. Again, the event is sponsored by Eberhard Group with Keller Williams Realty, so we really appreciate their sponsorship for the 3rd consecutive year. We're able to buy the nice, high-quality race shirts that people really appreciate. Speaking of Summerfest coming on as well, our seasonal staff will be making a few appearances. The Ed Struck will be there Friday, and that date is June 27th. They'll be there from 11 to 1, and then again on Saturday, June 28th from 12 to 4. They'll also be helping out with the pop-up splash pad along with the fire department, and that'll be on that Saturday from 1 to 2:30. Lastly, we have our wellness transition to new transit. Maybe I'll let Jan talk about that. I know she likes discussing the wellness 50, so if you wanted to do that during your time, you can certainly do that.
Movies in the park.
Yeah, that'll be coming later in the summer, so I was just talking about, yeah, May and June, but I'll address that at our July meeting for sure. So with that, I stand for any questions. Anybody has comments, anything? Okay,
Good?
thank you.
All right, thanks, Julie. Commissioner updates.
If there's anyone from Willowbrook watching, stay off the grass. There are signs there that nobody's paying attention to, and the grass isn't going to grow if you're playing volleyball on it, but have fun at the park. It's a great park.
Thanks, Glenn. Oh, that's good. Jen.
Yeah, so Julie had mentioned the Wellness 50+ transition to transit. And so we do have 2 times, Thursday, June 12th, and, yeah, it's in the Oakdale Wellness 50+ part of the Oakdale update. And so I hope that people, you don't have to be 50 or older to attend some of these events that we offer. We just like to make sure that people get accustomed to what's going on, especially, as it helps you get around. So yeah, that is Thursday, June 12th, 1 to 3 at Discovery Center, and then again on Tuesday, June 24th. But as Mark had mentioned, we do have the blood drives, which are always good events to attend and, rewarding. So, yeah, please always check out what we've got going on, and, just a lot of events, you just show up, but the ones that you sign up, it's easily done through the Discovery Center and our website. Yeah, so.
Thank you.
It's not really park cleanup, but if any of the commissioners want to help, the Oakdale Athletic Association, we jumped into the Adopt a Highway. I don't know if you guys have seen the signs. We have from like Larpenter on Century Avenue up a little past 36, up past the Dairy Queen there. We just did our first cleaning last week, and there'll be another one in the fall. So if you're interested in helping, let us know.
Good.
Our wellness group for Twin Cities just did Adopt a Highway too.
Excellent. Jen,
I have nothing more.
anything else?
Yes, I have a little bit. So the parks are really clean, and I love that. The park cleanup event is, I think, very successful, and I love it. But I often ride along the walking trails, the multi-use trails, like all over Oakdale, and the parks are always clean, but I often see trash on the trails themselves. And I was wondering if there was a way to like have a trail cleanup event or like have that as part of the annual park cleanup. I especially notice it once the snow melts, like you suddenly see all the trash that accumulated over the winter. I guess this might be more of a question for Jeff, but I just wanted to mention that idea. And also, question for Jeff, but the recent construction, the 4th Street Bridge, the Gold Line and all, there seemed to be a particularly large amount of trash there, and I was wondering if that was from construction that was going to be cleaned up at some point or not.
I can certainly pass those along to Jeff and have him respond back to you. But that first one was a great idea as far as the cleanup on the trails. I'm not sure, we typically have people choose a park, but not necessarily, a sidewalk or anything. So maybe that's something, an opportunity for us to look at.
Great. Thank you. I got nothing. All right. Councilman Markham. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate the feedback. Always a lot going on in Oakdale, so a few updates for you. Anytime there's new construction equipment in town, I like to give people an update because that's usually what we get asked about. But I know at 15th and Helmo, just over the bridge here, if you've seen just south of the veterinary clinic, there's quite a bit of construction going on. That's going to be an upscale childcare center. Tierra Encantada is going in, and it'll be, I believe, birth through pre-K, Spanish immersion. It'll be a really nice addition to the city, especially knowing there's a high demand for additional childcare. So
Tell me the name of that again.
Tierra Encantada. And they've started here in the Twin Cities, and they've grown nationwide. So,
She's awesome, too.
yeah, Kristen Denzer. Yeah, she's formerly a council member here in Oakdale. So she's been really successful, but another good project happening there. In relation to the parks plan, to echo your comments, a year and a half of work, it's been a lot of work, and it's been really, really good. It's been needed to kind of re-envision what these parks look like. And now we're to the point as we finalize about looking at the investment, where the dollars hit the road. And across all these parks, from the early estimates, it's many, many millions of dollars to do everything across 27, 28, soon to be more than 30 parks. So we as a council are really looking at each individual project in our capital planning process and seeing what makes sense. Because as a council, we've had a lot of conversations, and we really want to make sure whatever investments are made are going to serve as many people as possible and for the benefit. And that's why the parks were classified as community parks, the bigger parks like Tanner's and Eastside and Walton here. And then they've got neighborhood parks and then community resource parks. I live close to Armstrong, and most people live next to it. They don't even know it's a park.
No,
But it is city
We've
land.
cleaned up park before. We didn't this year. We chose Willowbrook instead, but
Right.
nobody does.
So there's a lot of conversation about where do we invest, how do we invest, but we are excited to invest. So your feedback's really important in that process. Even going on from that, 2 new parks are going to be finished again by the end of the summer. So Willowbrook North and Willowbrook West are being bid out right now, and they're going to be doing the work. And those will be the final 2 portions of the parks for Willowbrook. The North Park is going to be more of a natural park with trails and places to sit down and relax, but no amenities, no playgrounds or ball fields. The West Park is going to have a very large soccer field. It'll have some pickleball. It'll have some nice amenities there, a turf volleyball court, because we've seen so many people wanting more volleyball in the city. So those are all exciting additions. Yeah, that's happening. And then, of course, Summerfest. I hope to see everybody at Summerfest, and those of you who use social media, please promote it, share it, like, and show your interest, and send it to friends, because the Summerfest organization has been growing each year as they've taken it on as their own separate nonprofit, but they depend on people in the community to promote it, and they depend on people to spread the word, so please continue to do that. Otherwise, those are the announcements I have now, and stand for any questions if anyone has any.
Yeah, I think Jeff was saying that soccer field at Willowbrook will be done this summer, but it won't be usable until the spring. I think they want the grass to take hold. Because I asked about that, I'm like, can I use it for soccer this fall?
Right.
It's like, probably not.
No, and we've been had conversations about, it all depends on where the bids come in, right? Because these are expensive amenities to add to the city. We did ultimately decide to use irrigation in that space to make sure that what's there is going to be good quality and usable. But again, yeah, I'm sure it's like Willowbrook Commons Park, where it'll take a little time for the grass to come in and for it to be usable. Because those kids, they tear it up, right?
Definitely.
Good. Any other questions?
Anyone? All right.
Good. Thank you so much.
Yep.